What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 63 on my road to 700 pounds on bench press. Welcome again to the new set. If you tuned in last week, you noticed that I've got a new set going on around me. I hope you guys like it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what else you would like to see me do. I would love to bring it to you. If you guys are brand new to the channel, my name is James Strickland. I am going for a 700-pound raw bench press at the end of this training cycle, and every single week I'm going to bring you guys my training recaps. I'm going to let you know what I'm doing through my training, what I'm thinking about. Even got some Q&As, and I'm going to bring to you guys this week because I am all caught up on my recaps. And if you're looking for some older recaps, definitely go back after you subscribe to my channel and check out some of the older recaps. But welcome again, you guys, to week 63. This week was very exciting. Definitely feel good after my deload last week. Definitely didn't feel like I needed it. The deload came, it went into the weekend, had a very, very good Thanksgiving. Obviously, you go before the deload and have things going on in life, but deloads give me a chance to kind of catch up, which is exactly what I did. And I went to the gym, and it's strictly all business this week. This week I had a very, very good week as far as the training is concerned. I'm going to show you guys here the recap in just a second. Went 470 for 2 sets of 6, so we're not going 8s anymore. So if you guys followed along before the deload, we were at 455 for 8. Took a deload at 405 for 8, backing it down just a little bit. And I was actually expecting us to go like 475, 480 or whatever for a set of 8. Coach had something different on the plan, so we went for 470 for a set of 6. But actually the kicker here is, instead of it being where you think you're kind of going backwards, we're not really going backwards, but sometimes you're expecting your training to go a certain way. We added some bands in the mix, and so that definitely brings a little bit of excitement for me. I love bands. I like the hardcore aspect of chains, but they definitely have a role in overloading and definitely working on some sticking points. But bands, man, if you've never used bands in your training, you'll see here in a second what I'm talking about. They will force you to be very, very forceful throughout the entire lift, the entire range of motion, especially when you're going against them. Obviously, if you're using them where they're helping you, then that's a different lift altogether. But let me go ahead and show you guys the weekly video recap, and I'll walk you guys through my training this week, and we'll do a couple of Q&As afterwards and wrap this video up for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive on in. All right, so day one, naturally heavy bench day. I am actually at the brand new Woodland Strength and Conditioning. I've trained here quite a bit where they were at their old location. This is a new location. They've been here for about a month and a half or so now. This is my first time getting over to it and checking them out. I really like it's got a little bit more space. The colors are a little bit different, things like that. But at the end of the day, they got a barbell and some weights, and here I am. So going with the 405 warm up here. Man, I am feeling explosive today. I feel really, really good. Sometimes, you can come off a deload and feel a little bit lethargic. Not me, not this week. Sometimes possibly, but not this week. So 470 here, no lift off. Boom, getting in the groove. Man, I feel explosive. It's going through my mind right now. It's literally, are you serious? This is not enough weight. I want more. Which is a very good place to be in. I haven't been in this mindset in a while, so definitely a good place to be. Showed you one set there, did 2 sets of 470 for 6. Got some bands here. This is about 100 pounds of band tension in total. I'm going to start here going off of some RPEs and 3 sets of 3. So I started off with 405 just to see kind of where we're at with the field. Actually, I'm sorry. I started off with 365, went to 405. This is my second set, and these are Spoto presses. Hit the pin there, got regained control, no big deal. Spoto presses, just keeping tight and not letting letting the bar relax on my chest. It's kind of a dual strategy here. Pushing against the bands, definitely exploding, but staying tight. And the Spoto presses, keeping things out of the shoulders, just to keep things healthy, at least for this particular set, for today. Top set, I chose to go 455 for the top set of 3. Pretty sure I could have gone a lot more than this, but bands and being heavy, and this being about 450 or I'm sorry, about 555 or so at the top. I just wanted to be safe. I know I'm capable of a lot more, but we're ramping the weight up, so I want to be cautious. Next week, we're going to go a little heavier, and then the following week, a little heavier. So we're going to definitely ramp up those bands, and that's just a way for us to get the feel of some more weight at the top without actually having to put more weight on the barbell just yet. We're still kind of building, but showing you guys some dumbbell rows here. One of many, many sets that I will do during the week, various types of back exercises. My back is going to be the difference in this training cycle's 700-pound attempt. I train triceps quite a bit. Those are very, very strong. I train chest quite a bit. Those are strong. My back is the foundation for the bench. My purpose here is to grow the back as big and as strong and explosive as possible. Top set here was a set of 15 with 150-pound dumbbells. As heavy as dumbbells I could find. So these are what I did, and definitely could have gotten some more weight on this. Next thing here, we got 90 pounds in each hand for some cable flies. This is one of my kind of a warm-up sets, if you will. We're working on RPE scale right now, which basically means, I got Jessica Belt here in the background. That is a IFBB Pro. She just got her pro card in physique. Congratulations, Jessica. One of the owners here at Woodland Strength and Conditioning. So the pecs that I'm working on here, basically just, I'm sorry, the RPE scale that I'm working on here, 7, 8, and 9. So the first one was 7, second one there you saw was 8, and this was going to be a 9 for each hand, 105. Basically not going to failure. I have probably 2 to 3 reps in the tank with this type of weight, which means I could have definitely gone heavier if I wanted to, but we're not working on a 10 scale right now. End of the day here with some dumbbell rollback triceps, basically working on not really keeping it stopping there, but rolling the triceps back. It's 40 pounds each hand. Quite a few number of sets here. This has taken the place of the overhead tricep rope. Basically, we're just changing things up. The elbows were a little bit tender on some of those overhead ropes. I could definitely handle it, but if we can change up the exercise every now and then just to keep the muscle guessing, keep a different stimulus going, then rightfully so, that's something you want to do. But this felt very, very good. It felt like I could go definitely probably 60s or more, but we're once again ramping things up slowly. Day 2 here on my squats. This is my 585 warm-up. Squats and deadlifts I'm doing on the same day to combine a day, obviously for time, but also because I'm not doing too much on legs right now, just enough to keep the legs engaged and contribute to a strong core and strong leg drive for my bench cycle. I am wanting to go to the animal cage this year as an animal athlete, and I want to do a medley. The plan at this point is to do 700 raw squat 4 reps, 600 raw bench 4 reps, and then 800-pound deadlift 4 reps. So today, my top set's going to be 620 for a set of 3. This is a 620 warm-up just to get the feel. A little bit shaky there, but definitely just want to wake the body up. Using the Texas Power Bar Cerakoted Bazooka green color. Definitely check that bar out on texaspowerbars.com. They got some prices going on right now. They're pretty good. Definitely check them out. They provide me with my all my training bars, and so definitely I'm an advocate for Texas Power Bars. They're pretty much every single meet that I've ever been in has them. They can stand a lot of weight, and obviously you can see here I've got 620 pounds on the bar. There's plenty of room for more weight. But I am keeping my legs in the game. I definitely don't want to sit around on my non-bench days and get bored. I like to keep moving. Plus, like I said before, my leg drive is critical in my bench. If I keep my legs strong, then obviously I'm going to keep a strong leg drive. And I just enjoy doing squats and deadlifts now, which is kind of strange because if you followed me for any length of time, you can go back to probably less than a couple years ago where I would dread squat and deadlift day just because I wasn't really any good at it. I wasn't excited to get in there and do it. And then as I started getting a little bit better at it, form cleaned up, I started getting a little more excited. The weight started getting a little heavier, and here we are. So I did not do deadlifts today. I did heavy deadlifts the week before the deload. Did not do heavy squats. That would have been the week that Animal came out and did some film, and like I told you guys, my quads were hurting from doing some trampoline jumps, and so I played it safe and did squats that day. But today, I've got a treat for you guys. This was a long-awaited PR on bent over rows. This is 500 pounds for a smooth set of 5. Definitely did not think it was going to go this easy. Had to be kind of careful on this because this kind of weight, I felt like I was pulling my chest out a little bit and my back, so I definitely had to stay tight. But we're talking about 500 pounds here, so very, very happy for that. We're not going to go any heavier. That's not the point of those. I just wanted to reach that goal. We're going to kind of back off a little bit and do some other types of rowing exercises. This is my rear delt fly exercise on day 3. Definitely got the whole stack going there at 245. We got a new shoulder exercise here, kind of a pseudo press. This is a kneeling landmine, one-arm landmine. You guys have seen me do landmines where you're standing and it's more of an ab core exercise. This is more of the shoulder variant, and we're starting off slow, just moving the weight. This is very, very, very light, just a 45-pound plate. We'll probably move up to 3 to 4 plates before this is all said and done, if that's the course that my coach chooses to do. But definitely game for some shoulder exercises, but we don't need to go super, super crazy. My shoulders are bulletproof, but I don't want to go and start doing a bunch of accessories that target the shoulders just to do the exercises when there's not a direct carryover to bench, and there's definitely a greater risk of injury. So there's a balance there that we want to do for everything that we add in. You've seen these before. These are the T3 raises, just to keep the shoulders happy and healthy. About this time of the week, my shoulders definitely feel the fatigue from the week build up. So these are, as you can see here, I'm kind of shifting my grip from more of a pronated to a supinated, or more of a neutral grip. And this is because I'm starting to feel the fatigue of the shoulders a little bit, but this definitely keeps some blood flow going in there. Going on. This set actually called for a set of 20 with, a set of 12 for 145-pound dumbbells. This gym only goes up to 125, so I did a couple sets of 20. I would be lying if I said this felt super easy. I definitely got a little fatigue built up from my back, but definitely those 500-pound rows took a lot out of my CNS, so I'm taking a couple days to definitely notice that and recover from that, so that I'm fully recovered by next week. Moving on to the fully extended straight arm pullovers. This is 55 pounds. Very, very good exercise to open those shoulders up, open those, pull those lower pecs, just stretch those out a little bit, keep those healthy. This particular day took quite a bit of time. I went in thinking I was going to get in and out in probably an hour, which has definitely happened on my day 3 before, because there was a couple of exercises that had a couple more sets tacked on. Definitely took some more time. This is one of them, 5 sets of 5 with about 5 to 10 minutes of rest in between each one. It doesn't look like it takes too much out of me, but I definitely want to make sure I'm recovered, especially after doing those 500-pound rows the other day. So 350 really didn't feel super, super heavy, but I could definitely tell that my back was getting to the point to where it needed some rest. So did 5 sets of 5 with that 350. That took a good better portion of an hour to do. Some neutral grip lat pull downs, another back exercise. Told you guys the back is under attack, but the good thing about the back, the upper back specifically, is that you can work it multiple times a week. Now, obviously, if you've never worked it, I would not advocate doing this, but if you can build up to working it multiple times a week over the course of, let's say, a few months, if you're brand new, definitely do it. Your upper back is very forgiving and definitely can rejuvenate and heal a lot faster. Couple sets here of some bicep rope. Do a little bit of bicep work just to target it, but most of my bicep work is done loading and unloading plates and doing my rows. This is a new one. It's a cable a Y crossover. Very, very therapeutic on the shoulders. Felt very, very good just opening up. Didn't really feel any fatigue on these until the end, but it's really just 20 pounds each rep. So, I mean, each hand. So it's not too terribly heavy. Now this set here took quite a bit out of me. Triceps were pretty fried by this time of the week, which is kind of odd. But did a bunch of sets of 12 sets of 8, so a bunch of sets of 8, and definitely felt my triceps on fire, literally. But that's it for the weekly recap, the video recap. Short and sweet. I like to edit things down, put the weights on there to kind of help you guys out while I talk. But I'm definitely open for suggestions. I know I've had a couple of you guys want to do like kilograms and things like that. Probably a little too much, because I want to spend more time talking and less time actually doing the video editing. But I definitely appreciate that that suggestion. So overall, feeling very, very good. Body weight is sitting at right around 298, 297. Dropped down, believe it or not, about 5 pounds less. I was 295 after Thanksgiving morning. Or the next day after Thanksgiving. Basically, I think what that is, and it happens quite a bit when I do a lot of eating, is my body just reacts and goes, oh, okay, we got plenty of food, let's get rid of some food. And so you just go to the bathroom a lot. But then I balance out within the next few days. But the strength does not take a hit. If anything, it's just water weight that I'm losing. But definitely feel very, very good after a big day of eating. As long as I'm not like pigging out the day of, I definitely don't feel lethargic. You know, I do if I pig out that same day or maybe the night before. Sometimes it messes with me, but this particular time it didn't. But definitely carved up quite a bit. Which is yesterday, I finished that last day 3 up. The night after that workout, I was feeling pretty dead. You know, after a hard week of training, and after you know, that was a pretty late night for me. I typically don't work out too late. That was about 7 o'clock or so when I got out of training. So it was dark outside, of course, with daylight savings time. And, you know, went to dinner with the family, and I was just kind of dragging. And finally I got some pasta in me, and some potato soup and some other things. And it was like I got a burst of energy after that. So I knew right away that I was just drained from the workout, because that workout, you know, taking 3 hours, and I do have my intro workout and things like that, and I try not to eat anything too heavy, obviously, during the workout. But I noticed that the difference for this particular day is that I ate lunch pretty early. Went to go see the new Frozen movie with my kids. So I ate lunch probably around 12, and then we saw the movie at like 1. I didn't go to workout until like 3:30. So I was just drained of energy before I even got to workout, and I went through the whole workout pretty drained. So just keep that in mind if that's something that you guys need to do in your own training. I'm always learning about myself, and obviously, you know, I know that about myself, but sometimes the time can get away from you. So I would just advise, you know, if that's something that you have an issue with, then put like a protein bar or something like that in your bag and just keep it with you. I had some Skittles with me, which is some simple sugars, and didn't really hold me over too long. But I definitely got through the workout and did fine. But definitely, you know, going to be wiser the next time I go into the gym, and make sure that I have at least like an Animal Pro bar or something like that, which if you guys haven't had one of those, they're freaking amazing, especially the peanut butter one. I'm going to definitely shout out Animal for that one, my sponsor. The Animal Pro bar, check it out on their website. It's literally like a Reese's peanut butter protein bar, and I got a whole bunch of those. I'm going to stick a couple in the bag, that way they're there. But so this week, I am caught up. Thank God, finally caught up on my recaps. So week 63 being the first week in about 10 weeks that I've caught up. And I'm going to bring you guys a couple of Q&As this week that I have gotten submitted. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump right into those. The first one is from right here on YouTube. It was a comment on one of the videos, a couple videos back. And Blood Cake says, any tips on long limbs, short torso benching? Basically, any tips on if you have long arms and a short body, for lack of a better way to do it. Yes, actually, here's the thing. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this on the head right away. If you guys haven't noticed, I have very, very long limbs. I'm 6'1", and actually, just because you guys probably don't believe me, from fingertip to chest, which would be equivalent to the barbell, you can see that about 20 inches or so, 22 inches, we'll just say 22. But when I'm benching, I have at least a 19-inch bar path from full lockout to chest. And I don't know of very many big elite benchers that have that type of range of motion in their particular benching style, regardless of how tall they are or anything. So here's my take on it. Yes, I definitely have a longer range of motion, and could I shorten it by going wider or by certain techniques and going with a higher arch? Absolutely. I'm sure I could minimize my range of motion by maybe 2 inches or more. Would that help? I don't think so, and this is why. For one, the longer arms that you have, or the longer range of motion that you have, depending on what the lift is, like for squat and for bench, it's actually a stretch reflex that you can take advantage of, meaning it's like a rubber band. The longer you stretch it, the more energy is stored. So if the bar takes longer to get down and your muscles are having to stretch further, then you actually have more stretch reflex. Now, is it as simple as that? Probably not. Not the science of it, but the mentality of it can take you pretty far. Now, I go even further and have a closer grip bench than I could. So I am forcing the issue and basically saying, screw you, long limbs and range of motion. I'm going to bench the way I feel comfortable. And I urge you to do the same thing. No matter what your style is, as long as your technique is fairly sound, and that goes with any lift, go with what feels comfortable over everything, because you're going to enjoy it more. You're going to get more progress out of it, because you're not going to be basically in a bind, or you're not going to basically be uncomfortable. And I know that sounds like a weird take on it, because most of the time everybody wants to be all hardcore in lifting and say, well, pain's your friend, pain's your friend. Screw that shit. I'm sorry, but I don't think pain is my friend. And I have a 672-pound bench press, raw. No, it's not 700, but how many of those guys that are 700 are basically injury-free? So not very many of them. I'm not talking shit about other lifters. I'm just basically saying that there's a lot of lifters that could have gotten to that point that aren't, because they got injured with that mentality. But that's for a whole nother video. Back to the long limb, short torso. So here's what you want to do. You want to take advantage of your own leverages. You want to have a tight arch. I wouldn't say an over-exaggerated arch, because I'm not a fan of those at all. I'm not a fan of decreasing the range of motion just for the sake of decreasing the range of motion, but I'm also not for increasing the range of motion just for the sake of it either. There's got to be some kind of fine line in between. But I would definitely say you want to utilize your leg drive with your shoulder locked down. So you want to basically get in position. And if you watch how I get in position, that may not be the exact way that you need to get in position, but definitely find a way for you to lock your shoulders back and tight. Then set your feet wherever that's going to be. And actually, I'll talk to you guys more about this some other time, but I definitely changed up where my feet my feet positioning is. And so that's definitely something that's new, and I'm starting to kind of like it a little bit, but we'll see how it moves the heavier weights. But all I'm doing that's different is just my foot position. It doesn't change how tight my shoulders are or how tight my arch is. It's really just a matter of comfort. But you want to set your legs in a position that gives you good leg drive without your hips being able to come up and take you out of position. And you want to grab the bar, which is however you would typically go down into a push-up position. If that means that it looks like it's a long way to go and you're high up, maybe that's your most advantageous position. Go with it until it doesn't work. But that is my best tip for you, is I wouldn't go with what everybody else is saying. Most of the time they say go as wide as you possibly can so that you decrease your range of motion. I don't think that's a really good thing at all. I don't see a lot of super wide benchers that are going super heavy. Now, there's a few, sure, but it's not a lot of them. So as far as a general tip for you guys, I would say to go with what's comfortable, but definitely, in the case of any of these questions or anything in general, you guys want some kind of custom information for you. I do not have a problem trying to get to that. Send me a video, via email, swimhack@gmail.com, or on Instagram, shoot me a DM at swimhack, or just maybe if it's on YouTube here, you can just comment and leave the video link, and I'll take a look at it and see what I can tell you on a personal basis. But thanks, Blood Cake, for that submission. Next one is from AJ Ferris on Instagram, and he says, if bench uses pectorials and triceps, why do you need a big back? Well, here's the thing, and I mentioned this on my last video, and I had somebody kind of get all up in arms about it. Here's the thing. I never say that your back is your only mover of bench. Is it a primary mover? Absolutely. And you can argue with me all day long about it, saying that it's not. I can promise you it is. Now, do pecs and triceps, just stand by idly while the back's moving the weight? Absolutely not. Your pecs are going to stretch. You're going to definitely be using your pecs. You're definitely going to be using your triceps to lock it out. Now, if you have a super wide grip, your triceps are not going to work as hard, obviously. And if you have a super wide grip, your pecs are going to be working a lot harder. For my particular grip, and this is kind of answering last week's comment as well, my pecs don't work as hard as your pecs if you're wider. That's for sure. Do they work? Absolutely. Never said they didn't. But the back is critical. The back is your foundation. It's what you're laying on. It's what actually is providing you a stable foundation to stay tight on the bench. It allows you to explode out of the bottom of the lift. And then once your triceps take over, your back kind of takes, I wouldn't say a break, but it lets your triceps take over. So your big back being the fact that you're going to have almost like a foundation for a building. The bigger, taller building that you want to build, you have to work on the foundation first. So if you want to take it in steps, like with my training, my back needs to be bigger for a bigger bench. So I work on my back a lot. I build the foundation a lot. You see me working on triceps a lot because that's also another big integral part of my bench. So all the tricep exercises that I do, there's a reason why I do a lot of triceps and a lot of back and not a lot of pec movement, is because my pecs don't actually move as much weight as you would think. Obviously, I'm moving in the 600s for reps and with very little pec work, and I think it's working quite fine. But a big back is critical for not only a big bench, but for a big squat, a big deadlift, and a big back overall is really critical with your core work. So if you have a good core and you have a solid back, you're going to be pretty strong. I forgot who it was, but somebody said, basically somebody a lot wiser than me, said that they've never met a strong man without a strong back. I could only imagine if you were trying to, be, strong man without back work, what would happen? Or if you were trying to do bench press without back work, what would happen? But, bench is accumulation of all of this. So you definitely don't want to overly neglect anything. You want to work on your specific weaknesses, and that would be for anybody. If your triceps are weak and you can't lock out the weight, then work your triceps. And I wouldn't say don't work your back or don't work your pecs, but your triceps are your problem, and that's where you need to work. If you're having trouble off your chest, and you can't quite get it, from like the chest maybe to the 5-inch or so mark, then definitely focus on your back and your pectorals. But thank you, AJ, for that submission. Like I said, I am going to be taking these questions on a weekly basis now. So if you want to leave those down in the comments or over on Instagram, I kind of share those too. I mentioned Instagram a couple times here. If you guys are over there, definitely find me at SwimHack. Post up quite a slew of information depending on where I'm going that particular day to eat or what's going on with my family and things like that. So it's kind of more of a personalized approach. YouTube being more of the training recaps and just kind of strictly lifting related stuff. But if you guys are interested in that kind of side of me, definitely check me out over there on Instagram. But that is going to be it for this week. I think I've taken plenty of your time. Appreciate it. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet and you like what you see, definitely subscribe. We're going to be getting video recaps here going forward every single week, getting heavier and heavier. I'm getting very excited. Obviously going to be super excited when we get into the 500s for reps, which should be very, very soon. And obviously when we start going to 600 for reps, we're starting to look at a meet. So we're getting very, very close at that point. But I'm definitely going to be very patient at this, this point in time. The next big milestone is a short, 16-ish weeks away, and that's going to be the animal cage. So we're definitely keeping the legs going for that. Obviously going to be needing to bench 600 for reps around that time, but I think that should be plenty of time to be safe. And then a meet hopefully shortly thereafter. I think it should be the plan. But once again, if you guys haven't subscribed, please definitely subscribe. Thank you guys for tuning in and subscribing. For those who've been following me for quite a bit of time, definitely like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it anyways. But I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you guys next week on week 64. See ya.